Hello everybody, so I thought it'd be cool to get a quick reaction video to the Chris Eubank and Liam Smith fight last night. Anybody that's followed me on Instagram will know that I had predicted Chris Eubank would come through late and get the win on points, but dominating in the later rounds. And I thought his strength would come into play. I thought that Smith would struggle to hurt him, and look what happened right there. Completely wrong. Why do I think it happened? I think Smith kept it clean with his boxing, and he used his boxing skill set. I don't think it was really paying off particularly well in the first couple of rounds. I think Eubank probably did win those rounds, but he stayed patient, he stayed composed, and he kept looking for similar shots. Why do I don't think Liam Smith against a fully hydrated, not weight drained Eubank stops him. He may well beat him, don't get me wrong. I'm not disputing the technical ability or the boxing side of things. I just think I think there's a couple of factors playing heavily against Eubank. The first of those factors that I think is against him is that he stayed at a lower weight too long. I think he should have moved up. I think getting down, boiling himself down and draining himself to make that Conor Benn fight will have cost him in the long run, especially since he didn't kind of blow up and take a huge amount of time off to kind of recuperate and let his body recover from that dehydration. The effects of dehydration can last an enormous length of time that you just wouldn't even imagine how far-reaching the effects can be, mentally and physically. Sorry if my finger keeps popping into the screen. I'm actually just holding the camera here, so I haven't got it in the usual stand. So yeah, I think the weight draining will have had an effect on him, and making the weight. I think he needs to move up to 168 and leave it at that, perhaps even higher. He's not like he's a small guy. He's very muscular. He keeps himself in shape as well, and I think perhaps he keeps himself a little bit too near the weight that he's fighting at, and doesn't really give his body a chance to regain that energy. With regards to the second factor, I think that's the Roy Jones Jr. factor. I don't think it's a style that works for Eubank Jr. I don't think Jones Jr. has a particularly great skill set as a coach. You're looking at potentially the most naturally gifted fighter in the history of the sport. And it's often the case that incredibly naturally gifted guys just don't have the ability to coach. They're incapable of passing on their abilities because they're not intrinsically taught. They're kind of developed off the back of good fundamentals, and it's a process of aging that kind of makes them better and better and better, until they reach their kind of prime age. And I don't think any number of drills or anything like that is going to teach Eubank to box like Roy Jones Jr. I think that's the reality of it. And he's certainly started too late. I think a greater focus on fundamentals, defense, positioning, all these factors could have had a much larger impact in this fight. Less flashy stuff, less flashy advice, stick to the simple things. A good jab defense, good lateral movement, pick your punches, head movement, short combinations. Keep it simple in the manner that Liam Smith did, and did it very well. So that's my kind of reaction to the fight. Anyway, my immediate reaction. I think great result for Liam Smith. It's going to be interesting to see what he does now. I'm gonna tomorrow try and record a what's next video for both fighters. See kind of what's coming up. I'm going to try and do that more frequently as well, actually, for those of you that are interested in this kind of content. And fingers crossed. It's not the end for Eubank. I think he contributes well to British boxing. And he's got a good name. He represented himself well in the pre and post fight press conferences, and on the Twitter post fight, I meant. So we'll see what happens. But great result for Smith. Terrible result for Eubank. I think he needs to make some immediate changes. Remove Roy Jones Jr. from his camp. Train how he's supposed to train, where he's supposed to train, focusing on the basics. Those of you that know. He hasn't got to be doing all this complicated stuff. And use his natural advantages up at the bigger weights. There we have it, guys. Thank you for tuning in. A bit of a blathering on for 5 minutes, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Please do let me know your thoughts on all of my opinions. Drop them in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep an eye out for those what's next videos that I'm going to get recorded. Hopefully tomorrow for you all. Don't forget to check out the rest of my content, subscribe, all that good stuff, and have a great day.